Hey everybody, this is Mr. Review without a card review today. This is going to be something I still never do. It's a tutorial, and it's a tutorial on double lift, or my own double lift. Probably not my own, but my little variations of it. You see umpteen versions of double lifts, none of them that I've seen, with one exception, look natural. And that one is the one that Alex Pandrea put on his video on his channel about 4 or 5 days ago, and it's the most natural looking lift that you can do, or that you've ever seen. I can't do it. It'll take a long time to practice. I did the first time I did it, I managed to do it perfectly, and I thought, blimey, that's easy. And he manages to push off, I don't know how he does it, but he manages to push off just with that thumb the top 2 cards, and he uses this part of his thumb as a pivot, and they come off, and then he just takes the cards over and turns them like that. So many people, irrelevant of how they get that break, do this thing and this. Now, to a lot of non-magicians, that might not look suspect, but I think after a while it probably is going to be suspect, because this, you don't do this to take one card off the deck, do you? How do you deal cards? That's what you've got to think about. How natural is your double lift? When you take a card off the top of the deck, what do you do? Do you do this with it? Which is quite a pretty double lift. I think that's like a David Blaine type when he does 2 cards. I'm not going to do the double lift that he does because I can't do it. But he does a double lift like that. Well, again, that's a strange way of doing it. Not knocking David Blaine, because he is one of my favourite magicians. Jay Sankey, quite possibly my favourite YouTube guy. Learned an awful lot off him, and he was the one that started me off in this. He does a strike double lift, I think it is, but again, you know, who takes the top card off like that and then turns it over? And obviously that is the double. I'm not a huge fan of that, as it puts a slight bevel in, but again, you can see his double lift. I haven't practiced that, but to me that doesn't look natural. Again, some of the majority of people that you'll see doing tricks, and again, I'm not going to mention anyone's names because I don't want to badmouth them, but you can see lots of them, and they'll do this with their double. They're either over here or they're here, and they're kind of really awkward in just bringing it over. It just seems odd. Look at how you would deal a card out on the table like that, or how you would take the top card over like that. That's what you would do if you were just turning over a top card. You wouldn't be doing all this kind of stuff, or you wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff, no matter how nice it looks. The Stuart Gordon double lift that people use, you know, I can occasionally do it, but again, you're not going to be doing this or this really. The only thing that you're going to do when you're dealing cards is that, or when you're turning the top card over, surely, is some form of that. So, without further ado, how do I do my double lift? Takes a bit of practice with a pinky count, but pinky count, 1, 2. It'll take a little bit of time to get used to your pinky counting, or it did with me. But pinky count, so 1, 2. If you want to do more than 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many you want, but obviously that's quite a lot of cards to lift over. Now, I believe I picked that up from the Russian Genius, was the pinky count, and to begin with it did feel really weird. And a lot of people say, oh, we'll just push over the top 2 cards to bring it back. But to me, I mean, that's okay. You're going to get a massive double lift. You're going to get a massive brake in that case. And that could be, even if it's down by your side, people are going to be seeing you doing something with your hand. Whereas, pretty much in full view, I could do the pinky count there, 1, 2, and you're not going to see anything. And you can keep quite a small brake with that as well. Yeah, so that's tiny brake. Now, where do you go from there? Well, so you've got your pinky brake. Obviously from this angle it doesn't look like anything. Don't be doing this because it looks weird. I mean, that is what most people do. They come along here and slide the hand over and do that. All you want to do, and this again will take some practice, and this is where the little bit of Alex Pandrea I've added in, is you'll need to use, and it will initially it might hurt a little bit, this bit of your thumb here, so just under your nail, just about there. It will start to get sore because you've got to put quite a bit of pressure on this part of the card here, like that, and you push it like that. Okay, now obviously you can see that that's the double, but your spectators aren't going to see that. You can't see anything along the top. You've got your thumb to stop it, or this pad part of your thumb to stop it going over, and instead of doing all this, take the card, flip it over. Now I would recommend that you try and land it on this part of your finger, so you're not going to get the split like that. So and then at that point you can either square it up like so, get the spectator to sign it, and then do your pinky count again. Now it does help if you have this little bevel here. Bear in mind folks, this is the first tutorial I've done, so it might be a little bit all over the place, but take the little pinky count again and then do exactly the same move, and again just push that card over like so, again without the brake, and just pick it up like that. Make sure it doesn't split as you're turning it, and just drop it over. So you don't need to be doing any of this and all of this stuff, but to me that is the most natural double lift, because when you're turning the card over, I'll do that again, that's what you're going to do to turn a card over. So that is the action that you want to replicate. The more experience you get, I'm not saying I'm experienced, the quicker it will be. You can, when you get good enough, just push it across like that, so it actually goes across. But the drawback with that is you're not getting the anchor here, so those cards can actually split. So faster you get the pinky count, and I say you can be talking along while you're doing that. Maybe do a little bit of a push with your thumb just to square the cards up, push it over, lift it off with those two fingers. Now that one clearly has split, which is why I say try and always land it on that finger. I did say I'm not perfect. Now you can either hold it, hold it out like that, because that's there's nothing wrong with that. People don't think there's two cards there. It's just you're just showing the people that's the top card. If you're not having it marked or signed, why bother putting it back on the deck? And then you can just take it again from there, and that is the most natural thing, and just turn it back over. Obviously on the turn you've got to make sure you're not dropping the cards so they drop like that. Okay, so you just flick them over together. None of this pushing it down and forcing it down. Maybe a bit of a bend, and just flick them over like that. One more time peeps. So if you're good enough, do the Alex Pandrea one, because that was bloody awesome. I'm not good enough, so quick pinky count from your fingers, quick push. Okay peeps, realised when I watched that video back, I did cut out the last couple of moves about the double lift. So I think I was just repeated double lift, get the thing, get them split like that, and then just drop them over like so. Now there's no need to square that back unless you're having it signed, because all you're doing is showing somebody the top card, and all you do then is just turn it back over. At that point you can square it up, and then obviously in their mind take the top card over where it's still there. So we'll do that again. So I'm just redoing this, and I'm going to try and drop this into the video somehow. I'm not very good at editing. So you just count your 2 off with your pinky count while you're talking about something else. Use the base of your thumb if necessary, just for that anchor so the cards don't split. And just take the cards off quite naturally, not over here, not over here. You don't need to do all of this stuff. Just take them over quite naturally, just like that, which is what you'd normally do. Turn them over. I said again, there's no split at the top. It's there. If you want somebody to sign it, just close it up and get them to sign it. At that point, obviously, do a bit more talking, redo your double lift and push it over again. And again, just take the cards from there and flip them over. Just be careful when you're flipping them over that you're not flipping them over so that they split like so. But there's no reason why they should, unless you've got a really bad old deck of cards. You then might want to put a bit of a bend in them to try and get the air out. But there's no there's no need to do it really quick. There's no need to, you know, just do it like that. Just use the fact that you're going to get some friction on the cards. Don't do this because it looks weird. Try and have a little bit of space there so you can just put all of your fingers in like that. And then I'm going to do it like that, but obviously you wouldn't do it like this to the spectator's eyes. The spectator is roughly where the camera is, so you're going to be pushing that double over like that, and then just dropping it over like that, and then obviously taking that top card off. But the whole point of this is the naturalness. Now I might repeat with myself here because of what I can't remember what I've cut off the previous video. This is how you deal cards out. Yes? This, if you wanted to show somebody what the actual top card was, would be that action. That is the action that you want to pretty much mimic. You're not showing the top card like this or like that, or again with respect to Jay Sankey, you're not showing the top card like that, or with respect to David Blaine, you're not doing that to show what the top card looks like. Pretty as they may be, what you want to be doing is making everything as well, as natural as possible, but also keep everything uniform. So if you're doing this in one instance and then you're doing that in one instance, the next thing that you do, you don't want to be doing a trick where you're going like this because it just looks odd. So practice, practice, practice. Get that pinky count working. My opinion is don't do any other form of break. It gets quite a small break, which you can quite nicely hide. I think I mentioned that. And work on just pushing the card over like that, far enough that you can just get 2 or 3 fingers up and hold them like that. Now occasionally it will split, so you've got to make sure you're holding it firm enough, but without losing all the blood out your fingers. So and then just flip it over like that. And the more practice you get, the squarer the cards will be. Now, it doesn't matter about this because people aren't expecting there to be 2 cards. And if you can sign it, so people can still sign that card, and then you can just take that break there, put all your fingers underneath it like so, and just flick them back over like that. Okay peeps, I hope that has helped some people. I know I might have repeated myself a couple of times because I've had to chop the video because I realised I was losing all my cards over here and not showing you exactly where it was. But personally, that, I think, is the most natural way of turning cards over. So why on earth would you try and change how you turn cards over just because you're going to be doing a double lift? There's no reason why you would do that, because that's the way you're going to turn the card over, and as I say, that is a double. Okay, guys, girls, thank you all for watching. As all, take care. I'll see you all next time, more than likely with a card review, because that's what I normally do on this channel. But yep, thanks for watching, take care, keep practicing.